Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are here and we are live. We're going to be here for the co-main event and the main event of the evening, talking live with you through the Contender series. I hope that you guys are enjoying the show so far. I hope that you guys have done well. If anybody checked out the document that I sent, I hope that you guys have been cashing in a little bit. We had Bennett as the money line side identified, in that most recent fight, and obviously a very close one, a very controversial decision there, but it was certainly an interesting fight. And I know you guys might be interested in what we're looking at for this next fight of the night. And so I got to just tell you guys, Artur Lopes, they've got on the screen right now, 5-fight win streak. But I'll tell you, his 5-fight win streak is since 2017, 16, something like this, right? If you look back, he has not fought professionally except one time since 2018. And he used to fight in the welterweight division. So his body composition does not look extremely athletic. That being said, we always know the Contender series stuff can get very dicey in terms of a heavyweight fight. So when you're looking at a massive favorite, when you're looking at somebody who is, coming in at this huge distinction, you just want to be cognizant of the fact heavyweight fights are inherently high variance. They can always have a measure of things going wrong, things going sideways when they're slinging leather and they're two guys that are going out there and they both weigh, a significant amount of weight. One shot, one connection, you zig when you should zag. It could be the end of the fight. Now, on the other side, we're talking about Tallison Teixeira. He's walking out right now. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, guys. And when you look at his skills, most of the time inside of his fights, he's going out there, he's pressing his striking advantage. He's a long, tall guy. He's going to have the advantages in height, reach, and age in this contest. And when you look at a guy like Teixeira, he has a submission game, but he often does not show it off. He's going out there, standing on the feet. And I will say, against his low-level opponents, against some of these guys that are a little bit older, he has a little bit of showmanship, right? He goes out there and he puts on a little bit of that style and profile, and he's, throwing out these feeler shots, and he's kind of walking into some return fire. So I think that when you look at this fight, right, Teixeira, for me, is clearly the better fighter. He's a guy who's been out there being very active. He's a young guy. He's got all the right credentials. But I just think that when you look at a big moment like this, you always want to just be cognizant of the -1,000, things like that. I think the way to play Teixeira, you try and hunt a prop down, whether it's him going out here and looking for the early finish, whether you want to try and look for an under, something like that. I did think that there's a chance, that because this guy is a little bit smaller, because he weighs a little bit less, he might be a little bit fast. He might be a little bit evasive in the early going, but I don't know that he'll have good cardio. One of the things about moving up in weight class is it's very hard to move around big opponents. So I think if they start to get into some wrestling and grappling exchanges, you might see, the effects of coming up from the welterweight division against a massive heavyweight like Tallison Teixeira. But guys, we've already got the Rumble on the way. So without further ado, I'm going to start calling the fight. I'm going to make sure that I'm live and up to date on my broadcast. So I've got the broadcast playing right here on my split screen. I'm going to talk through it and try and call the fights for you guys. I got the broadcast muted. So let's see how everything goes. Touch of gloves. We've got the tall man, Tallison Teixeira, taking the center of the cage. He's throwing out a couple feeler jabs, a nice couple of shots. He's landing big, but he just got hit with a big right overhand from Lopes. He landed the majority of the big shots there, but Lopes did land one of his own. It looks like Lopes is a little bit staggered. He just got hit with a nice 1-2, a good double jab as well. A high kick from Teixeira. What a versatility in terms of the leg kick from a guy who is so big and tall. Oh my goodness. He's throwing leg kicks. He's throwing kicks to the body. He's throwing kicks up high. He's forcing a lot of misses out of Lopes. Lopes is over swinging. He looks a little amateurish at times, but it is still a heavyweight fight, so he's got to be careful. Teixeira doing a good job now trying to keep him at the end of the jab. He's losing a little bit of the real estate that he had. I think he should try and pivot to center just a bit more. They're a little bit parallel with the cage. Oh, they're getting into some wild exchanges now, and he's starting to get clipped. Wow, Lopes is starting to fire off a little bit. Teixeira's got to be careful there. He was doing a great job when he was keeping the pressure on with the jab, but when he started to alleviate that pressure and started moving backwards, he's now starting to get tagged a little bit by the smaller man. And this is a David and Goliath situation, guys. If you look at Lopes, he does not look like he is in the same weight class whatsoever. He looks like a light heavyweight at best. This guy looks very small. He's getting jabbed up a bit, but I'm telling you, he's swinging with a lot of passion and intensity, and he's starting to land a little bit in the pocket. Teixeira's showing a little bit of inexperience, and he just got his mouthpiece knocked out. I'm telling you guys, you got to watch out. When you look at these heavyweight fights at the low level, a young guy, 24 years of age, 25 years of age, that's very young in this heavyweight division. We know heavyweights mature over time. 30 years of age often is when they come into their prime years. And he's starting to get hit too much. Lopes is landing some shots. A nice knee up the middle and a right hand, and it's over. Oh, beautiful job. Teixeira answers, and he closes the show. Great prediction from our guy, Bob O'McGregor. Bob O'McGregor with a name like that. Teixeira comes through with the knockout. He was getting touched a little bit, but he had the better composure. He used that elbow guard, came through with a nice knee up the middle, landed some huge shots. The ground and pound was there. Teixeira, good finishing instincts, stayed tough. He's going to have some swelling. He's going to have some marks, but he came out the other side. Great stuff from Teixeira. Goes out there and delivers quickly. Beautiful job. Look at that knee to the body to set it up. The right hand follows, and simply put, the hammer fist was elementary, ladies and gentlemen. What a knee. Oh, goodness. He turned him sideways with that right hand. Oh, good Lord. He had him looking for a bust that was never coming, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely brilliant. What a shot. Dana White and company acting like they just got a touchdown. So you know who just got a contract. I will tell you that. There's no doubt about it. New signing to the UFC. And now you see why they pulled my friend Lopes from obscurity. Ladies and gentlemen, they wanted to sign Tallison Teixeira, and they will sign Tallison Teixeira. What a fight. I hope they give him another opportunity at 205, because that guy came out swinging, and, you know, there's a lot of guys I think that would have approached that matchup with more fear, more of an inclination to grapple. He was willing to throw at them, but yeah, he absolutely got blasted there. And you see the difference in the striking pedigree. Just a lot cleaner techniques from Teixeira, and ultimately that was what sealed the deal. Shout out to our guy Teixeira. Beautiful, beautiful stoppage. Wow. Hats off to him. And guys, if you're not following me already on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call this social media platform, I'm going to encourage you to do so right now. And I'm going to share my screen in just 1 second. If you look, I had actually posted yesterday the fact that there was a massive, massive disparity in size. So obviously this was reflected in the line, but just for people that don't do as much research on these Contender Series fights, make sure you're following on social media, because look at this. We showed the David and Goliath photographs in the before, and you would have definitely wanted to know that before you take the dog sprinkle on Lopes. I had said, you know, from a money line standpoint, it ultimately had to be dog or pass at these kind of odds, but it's not the kind of thing where you want to invest in the dog either. It's a better pass than anything, because the other guy didn't look like he was in the greatest shape and didn't look like he was, prepared for this heavyweight division in any way. And if you look at the weigh-in videos, he weighed in at 218 pounds, guys. I mean, he's given up 40 plus pounds before the fight. That's just not a great opportunity cost, especially when you don't have massive speed or, you know, a Jailton Almeida-like approach, taking them down constantly. When you want to stand on the feet with heavyweights and you're undersized like that, it's simply a matter of time. So, wow, brilliant shots. And I thought Teixeira could have won this fight any way he wanted to. I thought he could have taken it to the ground as well. But for the sake of that contract, to give Dana White the feel goods, he was out there throwing that leather, and he took some risks, but it paid off for him ultimately. Nicely done. True Cell says, seeing Dana happy always makes me less happy. I get what you mean. Watch Dana give them both contracts with a conditional 205 drop. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because he went out there and swung. But ultimately, he's probably not getting the contract. Maybe if he goes out there and gets 2 more fights on the Brazilian regional scene and proves he wants to do MMA for a living. It felt like it was only a matter of time. Got to respect the heart. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Alvaro Dorantes. I think that's a new name in the chat, but if it's not, Alvaro, thank you for the great contributions. I hope to see more from you. Shout out to our guy Cole, a constant contributor, says mad respect to Lopes. True David and Goliath fight, no doubt about it. It seems like some people enjoyed the commentary. I appreciate you, Cole. Fila says night. Absolutely. Nothing much more to say than that. On this one, guys, I want to just circle back to all the great people that have stopped by earlier today. We had Dixon, we had Super, we had Herc. We had a bunch of different people pop in here. Nigel as well, Understand Boxing. A lot of really great people stop by. Moist Audio, a lot of common contributors in the chat. Larry as well. A lot of them were getting after me because I was late on this, guys, and I apologize for that, but I had a bunch of hurdles thrown in my way the last 2 days, and we were able to get the show out on Gordo's channel like normal. I think what we're going to do moving forward is we're going to stream the show from my channel, and it's going to, live stream as well to Gordo's channel each and every week, just so people have an opportunity to find it anywhere, to make sure that both audiences have an easy opportunity to click that. I think we can make that happen moving forward. So that's what we're going to try and do. Trace Commas asking, what's our thoughts on the last fight? Let's get to it right now. So frankly, guys, I think this is a great fight. If you look at Elijah Smith, what he brings to the table, he is the son of a UFC fighter, Gilbert Smith. This would be the first father and son duo to ever make it to the UFC. So that's a great story. On the other side, Dan Hooker's protege, Aaron Toe. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I think it's toes him up. So I think it's Aaron Toe. But in any case, guys, this guy is a star in his local region, no doubt about it. He goes to shows, he's the main event every time they line up for him. He's very small for this division. If you look at him, he's about 5'4", according to UFC stats. He's not a very large man in stature, but he does have a lot of heart. He's got a lot of grit. The thing about this fight that's difficult is projecting out exactly how good he can be, because he comes from a great gym. He comes from, city kickboxing. You expect great things from these fighters. However, he hasn't been challenged very much on the regional scene. If you look at a lot of the fighters he's faced, they've got negative records. They've got, 500 records. They're 7-6. They're just not blowing your hair back in terms of these are great high level opponents that are really going to test your grit, your mettle, like you're going to see in the UFC. However, I will just note, we had Reyes Cortez Jr., right? Tracy Cortez, brother. He was on the show, and he came up short both times. He got dealt from the bottom of the deck, right? If you fight Christian Rodriguez and Peyton Talbot in your 2 UFC Contender Series opportunities, that's a really brutal draw. But, he was able to go out there and deal with Elijah Smith. He was able to go out there and land a bunch of shots. And what happened is in round 1, Elijah Smith was setting the tone. He was getting to his takedowns. He was using the ability to shoot from far away, which is a unique ability that he has, that he could shoot from halfway across the octagon and take people down. He's very good at that. But I think that when you look at a fight like this, I'm saying to myself, you know what? We've got a very competitive, Toe, if he's able to force this fight into the second round, because that's when we saw Reyes Cortez start to have his success, right? He was able to push through that barrier, and he was able to start to set the pace, set the tone as the fight went on. I think if he's able to push him to the cage, get him a little bit tired, force him to work, I think that's how Toe is able to win this fight. I think if he just engages with him at distance early, that's a firefight where he should probably be, a dog, right? Like he should probably be an underdog in that situation because he's got a longer, faster opponent. So I think that, one of the downsides to his style is kind of like Dan Hooker, his mentor, he kind of keeps that lead hand a little bit low. He's a little bit, playing with the margins there, trying to bait people in, trying to find his counters, trying to find his stuff over the top. But that opens up some lanes for people to land offense. And there was one time in the amateurs where he was stopped via TKO, and it was basically, an accumulation of damage. He got busted up on the nose, and he looked undersized in that fight. And so I still think he's a little bit undersized for this division, but I think that he's a dog and a guy who's going to go out there and try and push the pace, and a guy who's going to try and go out there and grit, with you into round 2 and round 3, and really try and push that. So for me, that's where he becomes live, is if this fight gets a little bit extended. I think in the early going, I give more of the finishing equity to Smith. Let me go ahead, guys, and pull up my Dana White Contender Series betting strategy guide, just so you guys can take a look at what we have for this main event fight and see if it could give you any edge. I'm just trying to give people an edge. I wasn't able to bet on these fights myself today. I wasn't able to make it out to New Jersey because of all these errands I've been running. But what I did try and do is put people in a position to succeed. by giving them all the best information that I could find. And in this case, guys, we're looking at fight number 5. We got the 8-0 Aaron Toe taking on Elijah Smith, 6-1. The anthropomorphics say Elijah Smith is the bigger, younger fighter, but we've talked about it many times on this platform, guys. It's one thing for somebody to be the younger fighter and, they're 26 years of age and their opponent is, 39 years of age. It's a whole different thing to me when you're 22 years of age, right? You're not even fully developed into your body. I think he's a very physical guy, a strong guy, but I still think there's room for him to grow. I still think that he's going to continue to mature and age. That's just the nature of, manhood, right? It's just how things go. You don't finish developing physically typically until you're 25 years of age or so. So for Elijah Smith, I think some of those cardio things, some of those physicality things that Reyes Cortez was able to exert on him, some of those experience factors, maybe we see the same thing from an Aaron Toe here. I think that would be an interesting juxtaposition. But in any case, guys, we got two interesting stories here, right? The Dan Hooker protege and the guy who's a son of a UFC fighter. So the UFC is in a no-lose situation here, I feel. They're just hoping that somebody does something explosive, goes out there, earns a bigger fan base. But I will just say, if you look at the social media metrics for this card, the bigger social media is Aaron Toe. He's the second biggest social media A-side on this card behind Hassanzada. And Hassanzada went out there and got the W by hook or by crook, right? He found a way to get it done. And if you listen to the stream that I did with Gordo, we talked about the submission prop. In my document, I'll scroll up real quick. We highlighted the submission round 3 as a good angle. Hassanzada sub plus expected value props. So trying to put people in a position to succeed, trying to find out what are the good plus expected value angles on these different fights. And you never know what they could be, right? I think that we try and look for the right angles on both fighters. And so in this fight, guys, I think the money line side is probably a dog or pass situation. You've got a guy who has a pretty favorable, set of circumstances in terms of he was the guy who's preparing for this date, right? They pulled in Elijah Smith as a short notice replacement. Now, he was preparing for a fight in November, but if you know anything about fight camps, you try and peak at the end of your camp. He's probably trying to stay in shape year round, but a 22-year-old guy, maybe, he's not having some fun, whatever, before the fight camp and still getting in shape. Now he's got to take this opportunity because it's a great opportunity. But you see a guy who's getting prepared. He's ready for this opportunity. And the last time that he was fighting, guys, there was a chant like, get him in the UFC, get him in the UFC. Like, Dana, sign him, sign this man, sign this. It's crazy. So this guy is like a local star, and they would love to put him on a card in that part of the world, I'm sure. But on the other side of things, it's a no-lose situation. Like I said, you got an Elijah Smith who typically goes out there and gets fun, explosive finishes. That's what he did in his last fight. That's why he's here. And, he also goes out there and left on his shield the night that he lost. So I think that you got to give a lot of respect to both these guys. I think one thing that's interesting here is the size disparity could lead to a potential submission. That's something I noted in my breakdown. Listen, when you got two guys that have a combined one win by submission in their career, it's going to be big plus money numbers. But I just think that you've got a guy in tow who would be wise to go out there and push some wrestling, some grappling, try and get this guy against the fence, try and get some of those sequences going early to get him tired. That could put him in a little bit of danger, right? But down the stretch, if you get somebody tired, if you get somebody hurt, then, a brown belt becomes a purple belt, we all know the joke, right? We all know the sequencing. And it is that you become a diminished version of yourself. But in any case, guys, we've had the document up for a while. I hope everybody's been able to take advantage. It's also in the chat above. If you guys just scroll up in the live chat, earlier today, I posted it, and I'll try and, I don't know if I can pin it or anything like that, but hopefully you guys are able to find that. And if you want to take a look, you're more than welcome to take a look. I didn't get everything right, but I had a pretty good night, I feel, on my analysis, my picks, things like that. So happy about it, and hopefully we can close out strong. But for now, we're going to take this off the screen, and we're going to get to the live commentary, guys. Shout out to the chat. Bob O. McGregor's on a 1-0 streak. He's got Smith KO. Good luck to you, my friend. Shout out to Cole, says much appreciated. I think that if you were to bet Elijah Smith in this spot, I think that the way to look towards him is probably those early round props, round 1 and round 2. I did also note that in the document. I think he comes out explosive. I think he comes out really dangerous. And I think that Toe is going to be in a lot of danger in the early going, especially. I mentioned it a lot on the breakdown that I did, but I really think it's a point worth making. If he commits to a fight at distance with this guy, that's going to be potentially a problem just because of his hand positioning and the speed and the length of his opponent. That's just a huge gap and barrier to overcome. Look at the size difference as he makes the walk here. But I did note as well on Twitter, on X, this guy was not lacking for confidence at all on the scale, and he's got a lot of Maori pride. He's got a lot of warrior spirit. I think he's poised to go out there and try and make it a dogfight. So I'm really excited to see this one play out. And if you guys have action in this fight, go ahead and let me know what you got in the chat. Whether you agree with my analysis, whether you disagree with my analysis, I'm happy to shout you out on the chat and let people know what you're thinking, because it's it's a hard game to get right. And I always say, please listen to other people's analysis as well, and see if you could learn something from them. I'm always trying to learn from others myself. I'm glad this is the main event. Absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of aura on this fight. I feel like there's a lot of anticipation. And, there's a little bit of worry about a potential staph infection. People were talking about what the coverage was in terms of a bandage on the chest. I do have some marginal concerns now about what I'm seeing in terms of that sore on his chest, but I don't know exactly what to make of it. Shout out to Trace Kama, says, I think this spot was dog or pass. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And you look at Dan Hooker, Eugene Behrman, star-studded corner, but definitely some kind of mark on his chest. It could just be a cut, right? It could just be a scratch. It looks like he's got some kind of mark on his shoulder as well. So who knows? He could just have a little bit of acne from supplementation, Shout out to Jake Fagan, sharp member of the chat, says, I parlayed Teixeira and Smith early numbers. We'll be looking to Arb if I can get a good live number on Tao. Yeah, especially if he survives one round. I think that would be, potentially an interesting situation. And, this is the kind of fight where both guys, I think, are going to come out really intense and aggressive. But as it gets over that 1.5 mark, both of them might slow down just a little bit if they come out, kind of wild like they typically do. Five-inch height advantage. Younger fighter. Definitely has got some of those fight numbers boxes checked. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, they're definitely pronouncing it toe on the broadcast. I've now muted the broadcast, but I just wanted to hear exactly what they said. And I think that Trace Thomas makes a great point in the comments. He says Smith has a higher ceiling than Toe, in my opinion. I think it might be a little bit too soon for him. I kind of agree, man. That was exactly my analysis on this one. I think he's a very good fighter. And at 22 years of age, he's so young. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities. But maybe he's ready right now. Let's find out. They're swinging already. 4 minutes, 28, 27. 26. If you're trying to sync up with me, let's see how this fight goes. We've got Toe in the red. We've got Smith in the blue, trying to become a second generation UFC fighter. Nice check of the kick by Toe. That was a beautiful job. He just checked an early kick. He's got a lot of confidence. You can see that in his movement. He's doing a good job being evasive with his footwork, tried to come in with a blitzing, hooking combination there, occupied the hands, but was unable to connect with anything significant. Oh, nice connection from Smith. Smith is trying to get off on some shots. He did land a nice 1-2. He tried to follow up. Toe was able to retreat to a better position. Got a nod of respect out of Smith. Pretty decent counter by Smith on a Toe advance. Toe's doing a pretty decent job keeping his hands up tonight. I'll give him credit for that. But they just drift a little bit. You could tell it's ingrained in his brain to have that little drift with his hands. I know he likes to show that jab feint, but he's not super responsible about bringing that back to the chin. Smith is occupying center. He's trying to walk him down, looking to create an angle. You're seeing some evasive footwork now from Toe. Oh, Toe got caught with a little bit of a right hook there, and now Smith is trying to close him down for a takedown. Toe did a good job circling off there. forced a nice miss out of him, and then punched him right in the chest. Good answer from Toe. Smith tried to come over the top of the jab. Not sure it connected. We've got an interesting fight playing out here because Toe is the one using a lot more footwork, but the guy who's landing the more significant shots is Smith from a distance. Now Toe tries to close down into the clinch. Smith bumps off with an uppercut. Toe closes the distance again. He's kind of crashing the pocket very aggressively now. Smith is able to back him up with the double jab. Didn't connect, but it was able to get him some space. Calf kick was evaded by Smith. Well done. Toe showing a little bit of redness on his nose, but otherwise, I don't think anybody's cut at this point in the fight. Both men are showing their tactical approach here. Toe just tried to duck into a clinch and tried to push him back to the fence. I think that's a really smart move. He did get dumped. He got taken down there by Elijah Smith, who hit a nice hip over takedown. He hipped him through on a throw, and now he's in top side control. But I still think that forcing him to wrestle and not dealing with him on the feet is probably a better move. And now he's able to get in on his own takedown attempt. See what I'm saying? Oh, nice elbows, though, from Elijah Smith. He's got to be very careful here. Oh, Toe is now busted open. We've gotten the first blood of the fight. Now Elijah Smith goes for a Kimura. He's able to create an exchange. He's trying to scramble. Nice double leg off from Toe, but Toe has a cut on the middle of his forehead. He's going to have to be, very defensively responsible the rest of the round. He's gotten busted up a little bit, but I do think this is a smart approach. He's got to make it a dogfight. He's got to make this guy tired. You do not want to deal with Elijah Smith when he is fresh, when he is confident, when he is highly motivated in the first round. You want to drag him into deep waters. You want to try and make him second guess himself. He's too talented. Now Elijah Smith is wrestling. Guys, this is a great sign for Toe. If you're a Toe backer, Elijah Smith trying to force the wrestling a little bit more, I think that's a great sign for Toe because he's bleeding out of his head. And yet this guy, Elijah Smith, wants to wrestle. This is what I was saying about this guy, Toe, is on the feet right now. He's not showing the right instincts. But if he's able to get this back in the wrestling exchanges, I think this is going to be big for him. Now we've got Elijah Smith ducking back in on a takedown. He wants to get this takedown back so bad. Oh, and now Toe is going for a submission attempt off the takedown. He's looking for an arm, not able to get it, but he's looking to create an exchange. He's got a wild leg lock entanglement, unable to do anything with it. He's ducking underneath the leg. He's just trying to survive, I feel, to the end of this round so he could see if round 2 and round 3 could be a little bit better, right? He's already lost this first round. There's no doubt about that. But I think at this point, he's trying to make sure, hey, don't get 10-8'd here. Find a way to make it to the end of the round. And he's done just that, wrestling up at the end, and he gets the takedown as the time expires. What a round. Great round. And it was definitely a round for Elijah Smith. But now Toe has a chance. He's going to be told a fire-up speech right now, in my opinion, from Dan Hooker. I'm going to listen in and life out of the room. Smith looks very calm on the stool. I will give him that credit. Toe is the one that does look a little bit more fatigued, but I will just say, when I saw Elijah Smith fighting Reyes Cortez, he looked great to start round 2 and just slowly let the fight slip out of his hand. And by round 3, he just did not look like the same fighter at all. He used a lot of energy, I feel, trying to get that wrestling back after Toe was forcing a couple exchanges. And for me, I think that you're seeing a really good, skill set from Elijah Smith. He showed the striking, he showed the wrestling, he showed the grappling, everything. But I also think he used a lot of energy. You saw a young man's game out there. And I think that Toe, if he's smart, he could go out there and try and push him, use some body work, and try and force him into a dogfight right now. Shout out to my guy, Jake Fagan, with a very nice comment there. He says, I'm the best commentator. I appreciate you, brother. Far too kind. Cole says, great main event, awesome pace. Absolutely. Plus 500 feels like a good live entry. I couldn't blame anybody there. I do think Smith is still live in the early portion of this round, but I think as it goes, if Toe is able to keep this wrestling pace up, I think that could be big for him. Nice right hand over the top. This is a good exchange. Oh, a good right hand over the top. Toe is starting to find his range with this right hand. Smith is the more active fighter, but Toe is starting to land these connections that count. And now that I've got the sound on in the background, I can hear just a little bit more of what's happening with these strikes, and that could make a huge difference. There's a nice jab by Toe. He's starting to occupy the hands a lot more. He's starting to throw a little bit more volume. Nice low kick from Elijah Smith. Oh, and a nice right hook to the body from Toe. Then he followed up with a jab. Elijah Smith is creating these angles right now, but he's not connecting cleanly with the shots. Nice shot from Toe over the top. He's starting to be more aggressive, and Elijah Smith is on the back foot. Elijah Smith did a good job turning it around, though. He just landed a good shot. Now he's going for a takedown, but Toe is starting to circle around it. Oh, Toe is creating an exchange here. Toe is creating a grappling exchange where he might pop out on the back. He's bleeding from his nose, but that's a pre-existing cut, I think, from round one. He's now popped out on the back of Elijah Smith. Nice grappling transition from Toe. And now a nice job trying to break with some strikes. Then he gets right back to the double underhooks. This is a good pace from Toe. He's making it a dogfight. He's doing everything he needs to do right now to try and win this fight. He's got the blood coming out of his nose. You're not seeing him back down. You're not seeing him show that wilt. You're seeing him come forward, press the action, head under the chin. And now he's going for a lifting takedown, and he might just get it. No, he's not able to do it. Nice right hand from Elijah Smith. Can Elijah Smith turn the tables? Elijah Smith always trying to come forward. What do these men have left? They've spent a lot. Heavy pace in the early going. I think more damage has been done by Smith. I think more energy has been spent by Smith. Nice right hand to the body by Toe. Nice 1-2 connection by Smith. Smith goes for a takedown. Toe is trying to create another dynamic scramble. He passes the leg. This is old school wrestling stuff. He passes the leg. Is he able to use it to come up the top? Weird exchange. Smith is sitting on top. Smith is going to try and throw an elbow here. Toe is going to try and create a grappling exchange. Toe is able to pass. Toe comes out on his back. Oh, what an exchange. This is dynamic. Elijah Smith still can come out on top. It's a weird leg saddle situation. Nice wrestle up from Toe. That was insane. Now Elijah Smith with the snap down front headlock. That's old school American wrestling. Oh, and he might have this. He might have the submission cinched up. He might have the submission cinched up. He's looking for a Darce choke. This might be serious. Elijah Smith has him in a dangerous spot. Elijah Smith is looking for this choke. Elijah Smith may have it. Oh, Elijah Smith may have lost it. Elijah Smith had a great position. He may have lost it. He went for the guillotine. He doesn't have it. Now Toe is trying to pass the legs. Elijah Smith may have spent too much energy. What a fight. Toe is back up on his feet. Guys, if you saw it, that was a very tight choke. He just didn't have the energy to hold it. Now an uppercut. Elijah Smith has had the better offense in this round. Toe is going to need something special. He's going to need a miracle. Elijah Smith is coming forward with big shots. Now Toe is landing in a nice left hook on the return. This fight is incredible. Smith is landing very well with that jab. Toe has made it a dogfight, but right now he is just behind on the numbers. Nicely done with that left hand, though. Can he make a difference before the end of this round? Huge exchange. Oh, and Smith looks tired. Smith goes for a shot. Smith goes for a shot. He stayed on his knees. Smith is tired right now. He just got back to work with the jab, though. I got to say, he's digging deep. He looked so tired when he failed that takedown. He got back up to his feet, throwing combinations. This kid's got heart. He's got grit, but he's tired right now, and that was a big body kick from Toe. Toe is ahead on the strikes by the numbers in this second round. Unbelievable. I do think Smith has had the better work. He had the submission attempt. He landed a couple better strikes, but Toe is making it a dogfight. He's coming forward and throwing. And if he can come out here in round 3 and make something special happen, we could have a star on our hands because this is an absolute barn burner of a fight. Right now, it's Elijah Smith, 2-0 on my card, but there's 10 seconds left to make a big difference. Toe is landing a little bit to end the round. Maybe he's done enough. Maybe he's made it close enough. Maybe he could steal it. But I think Elijah Smith should have done enough so far to be up 2018 on the cards. We've got Toe, a bloody mess, but we've got Elijah Smith huffing and puffing. What a fight. Somebody is going to walk out of here with a UFC contract. Of that, I have little doubt. Both these men have put a lot on the line. Both these men have come out here and thrown. They've fought their hearts out. But let's see how this goes, man. I think that right now Elijah Smith has 2 rounds under his belt, but I also think that he is fatigued. And I thought that, he was showing some cracks at the end. So great fight, man. The lane is there for Toe, but he's got to take it. He's got to come forward, through the fire right now. This is going to be a brutal round because Elijah Smith is going to have that chance to recover right now. He's got 1 full minute. He's going to come back out. He's going to have that heat for another minute. At least in this round, he's going to come back out throwing that jab. But if Toe is able to walk through it, if he's able to throw shots to the body, if he's able to get to that takedown, then he's going to be able to create, the circumstances for him to win. Right now, we've got Smith up 2-0, but can he hold on? Can he sustain? We saw some signs of fatigue, but he looks to be trying to dig deep now. The 22-year-old, my hat's off to him, right? All respect. Toe is showing him the hand. He's saying, I'm ready to go, man. This is fun stuff. Let's see how it shakes out. Round 3. Toe is the one who's taking the center. Elijah Smith backing up a little bit, looking for his right hands. I got 4:49, 48, 47, 46 on the clock. Hopefully you guys can follow that. Nice jab from Toe. Elijah Smith missed on the return there. Toe's trying to create some angles. Elijah Smith missed on the jab. He's coming up short on a lot of his shots right now to start this round. Oh, Toe is chasing him down. Couple big shots by Toe. Elijah Smith trying to get the respect back. Toe is walking down. Oh, big left hook from Toe. Toe is trying to find him, guys. He's looking to snipe him right now. He goes with the jab to the body. He just landed a jab upstairs. Smith is very reserved in this round. Big right hand over the top. Toe is starting to build that confidence right now. He's walking him down from the center. Can Smith do something to get the respect back? He whiffs on a kick. He's labored right now. Toe is talking to him. Couple jabs from Smith to try and get some respect back. Nice left hook from Toe. Toe is throwing big, powerful shots right now. He just went to the body. Nicely done. Elijah Smith is having a hard time answering right now, guys. He's very tired. He's very fatigued. Toe is coming forward. Good jab from Toe. He's backed him up to the cage. Elijah Smith bounces off it. He whiffs on the jab. Toe is doing a much better job with his head movement this round. Nice low kick by Toe. Toe with the dig to the body and the left hook upstairs. He brought the left downstairs and then upstairs. Nicely done. Oh, Toe with a couple big hooks upstairs. He's walking him down right now. The momentum has shifted completely. Elijah Smith is on his horse. He's going backwards. He don't want the ruckus right now. Big left hook and a right hand. A huge body shot. Left hand, jab by Toe. Can Toe do enough? He's got 3 minutes on the clock. Can he take this? He's coming forward. He's throwing. Elijah Smith finally finds the right hand. Toe calls him on. Nice jab by Smith. Wow, Toe is up 20-3 on round 3. Significant strikes. He is outpacing him right now. He is showing who wants it a little bit better right now in this third round. Got to respect the heart on Toe. He just got hit hard again. Showed the chin. Touched it. Said, show me more. Showed the right hand. Wow. Nice right hand again from Toe. Smith is coming forward now. Smith is looking for his own shots. Smith looking for the takedown. Toe is able to reverse it. Toe is on top. Smith went for the takedown inadvertently, or inadvisedly, I should say. Toe lets him back up. Gangster move. He said, nah, we ain't playing that wrestling shit no more. Toe is looking to walk him down right now. Smith just got hit with a kick to the body. Right hand to the body. Or excuse me, left hand to the body. Now a right hand to the body. Switching stances from Toe so much I can't keep track. And he is walking him down. He has him hurt. He just landed a huge left hand and a right hand. Smith is composing himself. Man, I got to give a lot of credit to Smith. I thought he was wobbled there. He got back to himself. Although he's still wobbling a little bit. He's still got his legs a little bit out under him. Oh, no. He takes a terrible shot. Toe calls him back up to his feet. Toe could have had an uppercut there for free. I don't know why he didn't. Now a big right hook. Elijah Smith found a little bit of energy. He's trying to come back with these big shots over the top. Toe with the big shots to the body, and then he's going upstairs. What a fight this has turned into. What a fight this has turned into. Both men swinging. Both men going for it. Toe with the big left hook. Another one. Toe with another left hook. Toe is just finding this left hook. 38 shots to 24 according to the stats on screen. That sounds right to me. He is outpacing him right now. Big time in this third round. Toe is coming forward. He still hasn't been able to bust up the face. Oh, but a nice right hand. And another. And a good left hook. These switch stance combinations are getting through to the target like they were not in rounds 1 and 2. Beautiful shots. Now Elijah Smith answers. He's finding his footing. He's standing in the pocket a little bit more. But we're seeing Toe. He's the one pursuing, coming forward, 39, 38, 37. Nice shot from Smith. Now he catches the hand. Toe retreats. He gets hit with a shot on the retreat. Now Toe's coming forward. 24 left to go. Smith goes to the body. Smith finds a shot upstairs. Now nice return shot from Toe, and he hurt him. Smith goes for a shot. Oh my! Toe is on top. 13 to work. Oh my! Smith don't want to be here no more. Whoa! What a fight! Now Smith is waiting. What a fight! What a finish! Hats off to both these guys. Wow. I think that Smith is probably going to get a 29-28, but I think, when you're talking about Vegas judges, guys, I think we're good for anything from 29-28 Toe to 30-27 Smith to a draw. Yeah, I agree with you, Curtis. Tua did not have great finishing instincts against a resisting opponent, but look at that nose, man. He busted up his nose badly in that third round, and that was a sensational fight. Both these guys deserve nothing but respect for that one. Toe was the smaller man, and he came in and threw. He came in and fought his ass off. He showed no signs of fear, just a big fighting instinct. I thought that Darce attempt is what sealed round 2, which was otherwise a pretty close round for, Smith. But ultimately, I think that you have a guy in Toe who went out here and fought hard and gave it his everything. So what a fight, man. What a great fight between these two guys. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And, in the breakdown that I did, I also highlighted Tao decision. I thought it was basically Tao round 2, 3 or decision in terms of how he would have to win this fight. Because I thought round 1 was just going to be a woodshed, and kind of was. But, man, he fought back. What a guy. What a fighter. These two guys went to war. Let's hear Elijah Smith. Congratulations. That was the correct score. That was the right man that got the win. I think both guys are getting a contract, guys. What a fight. Toe, an absolute dog. Great stuff on the mic. Thanks, brother. Goated commentary. Thank you, guys. I'd like to do more of this. I'm going to try and do a lot more of this on the channel. So if you guys like this, drop a like on the channel. Get subscribed as well. And hit a bell for notifications because you never know when I'll go live during one of these cards. I'm going to try and make it as often as possible. But I'm always traveling back and forth doing things. So as often as I can be here, I will be here. I love calling the fights. What a performance. So what do you guys think? Should we talk contracts? Who do we think's getting them? Let's look at the topology here. I think no doubt about it, Elijah Smith is in the UFC. Even though I do think that it might be a little too soon for him. I think he's a really good fighter, but I do think it might be a little bit too soon for him. Shout out to Small World Lifter, says, swept the card. Hey, God bless you for it, my man. Great calls. Great calls throughout. We had Hassan Zada. I think he's going to get the contract, although it's a really greasy fight. He fought hard. He's got a great story. Comes from the Uriah Faber gym. I think he's going to get the contract and a win there. Dylan Mantello will not be getting the contract and probably not going to be getting the call back, unfortunately. I think that Atiba Gauthier is a 100% contract. He went out there and landed, really big shots, and he was able to compose himself when he got taken down, got back up to his feet, got back to work, and got to his knockout. So we had identified on the show. Me and Pierce said, if you bet, what's his name? Gauthier to win by knockout and Naito to win by submission, you were going to come out ahead no matter what. And that's what ended up happening there. Naito wasn't able to keep him on the ground, wasn't able to hold him down and control him. So ultimately, he needs to work on his game. And most importantly, he needs to work on his physicality and just come back a little bit stronger and more assertive in the clinch. And if he's able to do that, maybe he could get a contract in his own right. But I think for now, he just needs to test himself against better fighters. He was pretty, softly brought along on the pancrase scene. Let's just say that. Then when you look at the Benjamin Bennett fight, if you guys go back and watch, I'm telling you guys, I said on Gordo's stream that it was a fight where I felt like Bennett had the exact style that will win him a fight, but not get him a contract in the UFC. I don't think Dana likes his style of fighting. I don't know that Dana's going to be happy about how he won, but I do think he's a good fighter and ready for the UFC right now. So it's the kind of fighter where, he probably deserves to get the contract, but I don't know that he's going to. It's just that kind of show and that kind of style, right? Split decision, very close fight. Didn't really assert himself too much, but I thought, excuse me, that his willingness to stand on the feet and trade in the third round is something that Dana may be appreciative of. Who knows how that will go? I think that for Tallison Teixeira, he's a 100% contract. When you look at how he delivered that knockout, sensational. That's going to be on highlight reels. The UFC is going to be playing that on all their promotional stuff. And I think that they're going to be very happy to sign him and have him fight, very soon in the UFC because they could use a lot of young heavyweights on the come up. And this guy actually looks like the real deal because he's got a BJJ black belt and he can go out there and strike. So if he could do it for 15 minutes, this guy could be, something interesting to watch. And I do think he has one fight that was a mixed rules fight, if my memory is not deceiving me, that went to a decision. So I think that he's a guy that shows some promise and he fought in the LFA. Now he got a huge knockout on Contender Series. So it doesn't tell me much beating this guy, Arthur Lopes, but it does tell me that Tallison Teixeira has the right frame, the right build. He's somebody to watch moving forward as he comes into his own in the UFC. And for Elijah Smith, I think he's getting the contract because of the story. I think he's getting the contract because of his father. I think he's getting the contract because he went out there and put on a dogfight and beat a good fighter who's a tough guy who really wanted it bad and who's coached by good people and who's in a great gym and a great camp. And he was able to dog it out with him and, stick through the fire in the third round when it got hairy, when it got dicey several times, when he could have quit, when he could have taken the easy way out. And frankly, when I think that we've seen in the past, some moments of potential, weakness from him as a younger man at 22 years of age, he was able to find that grit, stay in the pocket, keep swinging back with this guy, and ultimately earn himself, I think, that UFC contract. And I would not be surprised if Toe is able to stick his toe in the door as well. And whether that's a short notice opportunity at a future UFC card, maybe down a weight class, maybe they can get him in the PI and work with him on cutting the weight. Honestly, he's just so undersized that it was a really admirable performance. He's tough as an old leather boot. And I thought he fought really hard, but he just was down 2 rounds. And ultimately, that was what cost him there. So I thought he was a live underdog. I thought he went out there and fought his ass off, but Smith just did enough in rounds 1 and 2 to put the fight away. And then he was able to hang on in round 3 when everything got really dicey for him. So God bless him for it, man. He was a tough guy. He's a guy that showed his willingness to go out there and dog it out and compete. And nothing I can say but hats off to him at a very young age. He's a guy that shows a lot of promise. Like I said, he can fight in all phases, in the jiu-jitsu, in the striking, in the wrestling. He had something to offer, right? And that submission attempt, I think, is what won him round 2. So ultimately, his ability to mix the martial arts better is what won him the fight. And I thought that there was a chance that fight was going to end by submission. He almost had it, right? And the best price on some of these books was like plus 700 for him to win by sub, and I found a ends by sub at plus 700. I was like, man, that's got to be plus EV. And he had that choke, everything but locked up, everything but finished, and didn't quite get it. Let's hear the contract. Talking about Hassan Zada. He was on the fence. Sean Shelby wants him. He's in the UFC. Congratulations. Hassan Zada got the contract, guys. So there you have it. Hassan Zada, the submission was enough. The story was enough. He's able to go out there and get the contract. So shout out to him. I did think he was going to get it. He's talking about Gutier and he's glowing. Wow, they're oh, he's got Frank Mir in his corner. So now Dana's going to sign him. Absolutely. Gutier, he gets the contract just like we expected. Congratulations. Look at the smile on his face, man. Gutier is glowing right now. He's so happy. God bless him for it. Oh, Dana didn't think Bennett won. Oh, oh, Bennett's not getting the contract, guys. Just like we said. That's brutal. That's so brutal. I knew it was gonna happen. So brutal, man. That was a tough opponent. Yo, shout out to Gabe, yo, with the $10 dono. Thank you so much, Gabe. That's really kind of you. I appreciate the support, my man. Thank you for tuning into the stream. He's talking about Tallison Teixeira, and again, Dana has an erection right now, guys. If you're not, they have it cropped out at a certain point under his pulse because they don't want you to know that White is fully erect. Guy. He is really excited to have a 6'8" heavyweight in the UFC that's got knockout power like that. Wow. And here's Elijah. Absolute dogfight. That's what Dana said. That's what I said too. Dana's given a lot of respect to Toe. Dana loved it. He's bringing him in. He's signing him. There it is. Damn, I feel so bad, man. The only winner who didn't get signed just sitting there now. Fuck, dude. That's a brutal place to be. Poor Bennett. We said it, man. He's got the right style to win, not the right style to get a contract from Dana. He's got to get a short notice opportunity with the UFC. What a fight. What a fight. So I don't think they're bringing in Toe. I think that they're just going to leave Toe on the cutting room floor and be happy with the guys that won tonight. So shout out to this episode of Contender Series. I thought we had a lot of fun fights. Elijah Smith and Aaron Toe, that was a good fight. Tallison Teixeira, that was a fun knockout. The Bennett and Hart fight, honestly, I thought was pretty compelling. I thought that Bennett could have offered a little bit more in terms of offense, but I thought in round 3, he made some decisions for our entertainment as opposed to for self-preservation, and he did a pretty good job sticking him with big shots. And honestly, he landed the more impactful shots, I thought, in round 3. Busted up his face pretty good. So it was a really interesting fight. And then when you look at the Atiba Gutier fight, I had said at the early plus money numbers, I thought he was the side. At a pick'em price, I thought it was about fair because he had the more skilled guy. And even Dana said, like, this guy's got to learn to wrestle. He's got to get with a good camp, all these different things that are true. But Naito, he just didn't have the same physicality. And you could see that at the face off. You could see that at the weigh in, but you could also just see it on their topology pictures, right? Like you could just see it when you looked at the two guys. One guy just looked like a little bit of a lesser class of athlete, and his wrestling pedigree was what was able to pay him off a first round takedown, getting on top, using some top control, but he wasn't able to pass the guard. He wasn't able to really open up with any significant offense. And that was for me a telltale sign that he was going to have a very hard night at the office. It's one thing to take somebody down. You take somebody down, they can get back up in the next round and then beat you up, right? But if you take them down and then do some damage, or you put them in some bad situations, you make them really nervous that they're going to get finished. That's how you exhaust somebody. If you just take them down and they're in the full guard chilling and punching you in the face and you're just trying to lay on top of them, guys don't really get nervous about that anymore. They could stay a lot more patient. They could just bust you up a little bit. They know every round starts on the feet, and you don't get every round starting back in your takedown, right? So it's a clear advantage for strikers where they could just stay patient, stay calm. And if you can't do any damage from on top position, all they have to do is get back up, land a couple shots, the round's back in their favor. And I think that for Naito, he just couldn't take the same shots that were coming back at him. He didn't have the same amount of firepower, and that was ultimately his problem. Mantello, I mean, I want to be really respectful here, guys, because I think he put his heart on the line. He's a tough guy. He's gotten choked to sleep on multiple occasions. One of my colleagues from the Action Network pointed that out to me, and that's a gangster move, right? He went out on his shield. However, you just saw that maybe he doesn't have the right decision making under fire at this stage of the game, and he's 31 years of age, and he's had a lot of high level fights. But what we saw from him tonight is a guy whose finishing instincts weren't quite there. He had a guy in front of him that I thought was ready to go. In round two, his opponent landed no offense. Essentially, he was getting thrown around. The physicality gap was huge, and he wasn't able to take advantage of that. And he was, he basically blew his advantage and then came out in round three and tired out quickly and just had nothing left to offer and gave up the fight. And it was really sad to see because he's a tough guy and he worked really hard and it just didn't come to fruition today. I think he accepted the fight on short notice and he was in the camp for Matt Frivola, so he thought he was going to be in good enough shape to get it done. And unfortunately, he just did not have that cardio push that he needed. So maybe he'll get one more opportunity. He's the Serra-Longo guy. Those guys tend to get a little bit of leeway from the UFC because they've got a great relationship with the camp. But I think that, it might be over after that one. It was a tough look. And, it was a guy that he could have beat. And it was a guy that he had on the rope several times. And ultimately not being able to close the show like that sometimes is the difference between guys that get in the UFC and guys that don't. And so I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he's able to turn it around. I hope they give him another opportunity. But he just – you only get so many opportunities, and that's a tough one. That's a tough one because he really had every opportunity in that fight to take him out, and he just couldn't close the show and gave up his back so many times. And Bisping said, like, if there's one thing he couldn't afford to do here tonight, it was to go out there and give up his back and get submitted because that was the exact flaw that he showed last time. And it is kind of a sign of a lack of fundamental growth. And whether it was from a cardio fatigue this time and a lack of fundamental positioning last time, he still gave up the back, I believe, in the first round of this fight as well. So there was definitely some huge room for improvement from Mantello, and hopefully he's able to make that happen for whatever his goals and his career are moving forward. But that's what we had tonight, guys. We've got the contracts divvied out. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns that you would like me to address before we get out of here, I'm more than happy to do so. But if not, then we can call it a day and look forward to the next thing that we're going to be doing on the channel, which is our first look at the UFC Paris card that is going to be coming up. I looked already at my previous betting results on BetMMA.tips, and I had done a pretty good job. In terms of betting on these fighters in the past, I think I had, like a 15% ROI on parlays, 20% on money line, something like that. And so for me, I was very happy, seeing that because hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. So I'm going to do a lot of research. I'm going to dig into the tape and everything before the event. But for the first look, it's probably going to be either later tonight or tomorrow, and we're going to be getting after it, just talking about our first impressions, anything that we've got already in the bank on these fighters, and then we'll move forward from there. So thank you all for the support. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Peace, love, and chicken grease to each and every one of you guys. God bless you all, and come back next time. We're having all the same fun again. Thanks everybody. Take care.